Hello, and welcome to your relationship reading. I have a spread here that's going to talk a little bit about what's going on or what happened and kind of what the things to come in regards to this relationship that just transpired. Now, the first card I usually like to talk about is an overall message about the energy of the situation, what happened, and what is still presently affecting, especially. I don't know your name, sweetheart. The who was in the relationship. Okay, so this card right here really represents what happened and, like I said, the energy of the situation, which marks change. Now, this is a change that was something that's already been in the works. I don't think that this was a big shock. I think that there may have been signs that were ignored that led up to this ending of this relationship. Now, what I am getting is that most likely what the kind of relationship that you had with this individual is that it was a karmic relationship. Most often, these are what we can call soulmate relationships. And soulmate relationships don't indicate that they are to last forever. They're usually relationships that come into our lives that teach us something, right? It's kind of a big growing experience that happens from karmic relationships. So this individual certainly was a kind of soulmate for you. Keep in mind, soulmate, I always like to clarify, soulmate relationships aren't always romantic. They can be platonic, they can be family members. And so I like to make that clear that we have many soulmates that we have in our lifetime. Now, the thing with this one, I do feel like there was one thing that comes with soulmate relationships is just this intensity, right? So it could be that there was an initial recognition. It was intense from the start and it was an intense ride. And now that it's over, it's, because it was so all consuming in your life, now you're feeling like this devastating loss. There's like this big hole, right? That, has been left due to this separation. And I have to tell you that that is absolutely normal. And I honestly do feel that this relationship has seen its end. So I don't feel that there will be like a makeup with this relationship. And I do feel like it has come, like it's a time for a change for you. New things are going to happen for you. You're going to take your life in a different direction. And I know that it's really rough to get over this relationship. I feel your pain. And but I do feel in the long term, when you look back at this experience, you're going to feel that you grew from it, you learned from it, and that it was best that it came to an end. So that is the this card here, which kind of tells us again what the overall energy of the situation is. So let's go ahead and get on to the bulk of the other reading here, or your same reading, but your cards. So I want to talk about these two in particular because these represent you, okay? So we have these beautiful ladies here, which definitely represent you. Now I have a woman here who she's kind of, if you can see her, this represents you and the state of mind you're in. And I feel like you may have this kind of this romantic spirit in you that tries to really see the best in others, and you're hopeful. You're hopeful that even though everything that has transpired in this relationship, that somehow things will change and be better, and that things will go according to how you see them in a perfect world, right? And so I just feel like there's this lustful kind of like, really wishing that either he would come back or that things had been a little bit different, right? There's just, it's a very sensitive woman, very loving, very nurturing, very caring. And this kind of also tells me that you may have done too much of that. You may have given more of yourself than he deserved. So that's, obviously not fair to you. So again, that ending that came was really for your benefit, even though it doesn't feel like it at this time. Here we have a woman with these big lions, and this has several meanings, but the main one here, like what I initially got here, is that she's like trying to tame this lion. So this individual that you were with, I kind of feel like he was either really combative, argumentative, or even had a temper, or he just didn't really cooperate or treat you he didn't have the integrity. Essentially, he just didn't, there wasn't this reciprocating energy that what you gave him, like he didn't give you. So you were constantly battling, which is what I'm seeing here. So it was just this battle to kind of try and keep the relationship, like you were doing most of the work to try to keep the relationship going. And finally it was a battle that was lost, but not because you lost. It was just a situation that wasn't going to win, because you can't have a relationship with one person, right? Two people need to cooperate. So even though you're looking at this and I think you're going to go through, you may already be feeling this actually, where you're tending to look at the positive things that you did experience in the relationship and maybe forgetting all of the negative things. When we start to reminisce and think back, we tend to forget all the bad stuff and only the good stuff, and then thus our feelings get hurt even more, because we can only think of all the positive things, and now those positive things are over because the relationship has ended. So I want you to really kind of find strength within yourself to kind of try and see the bigger picture, that this was that the ending that has come is ultimately going to be, for your better, really. You're going to be stronger from this, but that to really look at this and see that it was very one-sided. I don't even see somebody here with her. She's very much alone. So that is just not fair. So really, that's something that I'm getting for you. Now, if we look at these two other cards, these represent him. And what I am seeing initially, I don't know if this gentleman, so I'm going to move this candle here so I don't burn my cards. I don't know if this gentleman had an ex-wife or just a woman. There's some kind of legal connection. Maybe it could be even common law. But it seems like this man came in with some baggage, okay? So this could be just connections to, like I said, an ex-wife or an ex-partner, somebody who was still kind of involved in the picture in one way or another. It could also be why this relationship kind of came to an end, because he chose to go back. Either way, I'm just feeling a sense of another woman here in the picture. So this is something he already brought into this relationship, and I feel like that again is not fair to you, because he wasn't doing his part of just focusing on you. It could be he was still focusing on somebody from his past, which is not good. And here we have this card along. Now this shows me a lot of just a lot of adversity. Again, I don't know if he had a bad temper or he was just very argumentative. Maybe he didn't even listen to you, okay? There's some kind of adversity there that you were always kind of battling with, right? Because he just didn't, it's almost like he saw you many times as an opponent. Like he wasn't, and it could be because you were trying to make things work for you guys, and you were trying to tell him how you guys could make your relationship better, and he kind of found fault in that, and even kind of even resentment. If you look at these guys, they're kind of fighting, like they're not coming to an agreement here. So it just seems like all in all, he ended up seeing you as an opponent and not somebody he wanted to cooperate with. And obviously, in a relationship, that's not going to do well if you're not going to be on the same team. So, again, there's this just very combative energy and one of not wanting to cooperate. I don't see any loving, I just don't feel like a loving energy from this gentleman. And also the other thing is it's almost like he was very quick to act. Like he didn't put a whole lot of thought into what he did. And this could also be another problem. You know, he was very quick to act and just didn't really take other people into consideration, you in particular, with this relationship. So again, this is him just storming out. So I just see him just not a very understanding or loving person, especially not at this time with you and how things ended. So I honestly, that just looks very unfair and not okay. I don't like that energy when it comes to a relationship and how he left things. So lack of integrity again, especially with this woman over here. Now I have these two cards, which kind of are almost like I like to kind of see like what's coming up here in the future, and just further looking at what things to maybe even be cautious of, that sort of thing. So what I am getting is that if this gentleman, and I'm saying it could be that you're going to hear from him again, and it's going to not be because he is willing to make things work, okay? I want you to be really cautious of that and really kind of be one step ahead, okay? So really think back, because what this gentleman is doing and what I see is that he is repeating these relationships. You are not the first one that he has had like such a tumultuous relationship with in this way. He does this in relationships, and this is because it's his own wounding, okay? This is something that he keeps repeating, and he's creating other victims, right? Like he just kind of almost victimized you. I'm not saying you are a victim, but what he did, just the whole experience, it's just kind of left you feeling obviously not very good. So I feel like something that you should be cautious of is if this individual contacts you again, to really guard yourself, okay? Don't go into it blindly. I feel like you really need to think about what happened in this relationship and not go back to it blindly thinking that things are different, because again, you know, we have this, how you're feeling right now, right? Kind of hopeful and even maybe, you know, wishing things had been a little different. But I don't see this individual changing. Like I said, this is something that he does. You know, this isn't something new. And he's going to keep repeating what he has done with you. He's going to keep repeating that. So be very cautious. This shows a young man kind of running in the night after he's stolen things and making sure he's not getting caught. So it's kind of like a very sneaky behavior. And so just be cautious of this sneaky energy. In the long term, when you look back at this experience in the relationship, you're going to know the red flags that you may have ignored. Those red flags that are going to go up in the future are due to this relationship. So this relationship for you is really a big learning experience for you that's going to be very valuable for you in the future. So really think about this, because it's very, very important. Now, the last cards here that I want to talk about are really what's coming up in the future for you. So there are a couple of great things here. The main thing that I want you to focus on is, if you can see, this gentleman here is with two children. So To me, it tells me that not only are you going to be finding new love, but I do see children, of course, in your future. This could even be children from the partner you end up meeting or yours. I don't know if you have children now, but I definitely feel this young energy. Could be yours as well, because you are very young and there's much more to experience. So it's good that this relationship happened now while you're young, and you're getting that out of the way, and you're opening yourself up to something better. The other thing is that what is being essentially advising you at this time is to work on a new kind of structure for your life. I feel like things may have been very chaotic for you, and maybe you are feeling like your life is just chaos right now because of all of this change, which is to be expected when a big change like this happens, like, this breakup. So, really the advice right now is to kind of try and rebuild your life, right? There's particular attention to home, to your work, or if you're in school, whatever it is that you're trying to build right now, it's time to build for your future. So really focusing on those things to make you stronger, to give you that structure. And in that, you are going to be more open to attracting a partner that's going to be a lot better for you, that you can actually build something with, right? Really looking for somebody that is solid and grounded and has a good has a better foundation to build a relationship with you. So that's really the big advice here. And over here we got the Hierophant. Now normally when I see the Hierophant, this is definitely traditions, but I also see this as, for you, it's coming through is marriage as well. So I do feel that, if you're trying to think, oh my God, I'm never gonna find somebody, or everything's really bad right now because of what happened, I want you to allay your fears. If you need to talk to somebody even who can help you get through this, it would be a good thing, if it's like a counselor or somebody who's older and wiser, to help give you advice on how to rebuild your life, it would be really good. Also, the Hierophant, what I like about it, oftentimes can come up as even a sign of marriage. So this can be, again, in the future, right? Like really trying to rebuild your life, restructuring your life, and really knowing what to watch for now. Like you've been there, done that, and really attracting a partner who's really going to cooperate and treat you as you should and really contribute to the relationship like you do. So I am seeing definitely a very prosperous future coming up for you when it comes even to relationships. But right now, you are kind of in the midst of this chaos, and even though it may be easier said than done, the best thing is to really focus on strengthening your foundations and what you are growing and what you are doing, because that is going to help you heal from this, because you're putting your attention to something productive and not to what was obviously very destructive in your life. So I really think that I really want to just emphasize that things will get better. They say time is the best healer and the worst beautician, but the healer is not to be ignored. So that is something I want to leave you with. And the other thing, I'm not sure if you're religious, if you're spiritual, or what you practice, but even trying to, because the Hierophant did come up, kind of going back even to like a spiritual base. Like I said, if you're religious, it'd be a good time to kind of reconnect with your faith and, spend some time praying to try to get some healing done, right? And if you're not religious, you can, even spiritually, you can still pray for intercession from like saints. Saint Peter is a wonderful one to kind of try to unbind situations, especially when you've been in a relationship, to kind of try and cut cords, right? So that's something that's coming through strongly for you, is to try to kind of reconnect to that source of your connection to your to divine source, to God, to spirit, whoever you believe in. I believe would be very helpful for you at this time, and it's going to really help you kind of steer you in a positive direction and help you to heal. So if you have any questions at all, lovely, please reach out. If you need any advice as far as cord cutting, or working with St. Peter or anything like that, please reach out to me. There are other saints that can definitely be helpful, but again, I don't know your spiritual practices, so that's just something I like to put out there in case people are interested. But again, my heart goes out to you during this very difficult time that you're going through, and what you are feeling is very normal, and things are going to improve. And I think in the long term, you're going to see that this ended up being a blessing, that it really, came to an end. So I wish the best for you. So much love to you, and may you be blessed, sweetheart. Take good care. Bye-bye.